Deltarune made one mechanic dodge attacks, charge your meter, and solve a different puzzle for every single enemy. Most devs would have built 3 separate systems to do all that. Toby Fox built one box, and it's the reason this game feels twice its actual size. Deltarune is the sequel to Undertale. Episodic, 5 chapters out so far, built mostly in Game Maker by Toby Fox and a small team. It mashes turn-based RPG combat with bullet hell dodging. Everyone talks about the music and the characters. Almost nobody talks about the design trick holding the whole thing together. Here's the core loop. You explore an overworld, puzzles, items, enemies you can actually see coming. No random encounters. You walk into a fight, you pick from a menu, fight, act, item, spare, defend. Then the enemy attacks, and a little heart appears inside a box. You dodge bullets until your turn comes back. You resolve the enemy, you walk on, and whatever you chose follows you into the next chapter. That's it. 2 big constraints Fox gave himself. Every fight has to be winnable, 2 different ways, kill or spare. And one mechanic, that bullet box, has to carry the entire combat load. No separate mini-game for mercy, no separate dodge system for bosses. Everything routes through the box. Most RPGs solve new design problems by adding new systems. Deltarune does the opposite. That's the whole lesson. Let's get into the box. It's a bounded little playfield where your heart dodges enemy bullets. On the surface, that's just damage avoidance, survive long enough to get your turn back. But it's doing 3 jobs at once. Job 1, survival. Obvious. Bullets come, you move, you don't die. Job 2, it's your resource economy. There's a meter called TP, tension points. You build it by defending, but also by grazing. Graze means letting a bullet pass close to your heart without actually hitting it. Get within that razor-thin margin and your meter fills. So the dodge phase isn't just survival anymore. It's a risk-reward game. Play safe, dodge wide, you stay alive, but you're broke on TP and you can't afford your spells. Play greedy, hug the bullets, you bank resources, but one twitch and you take the hit. The danger literally becomes the fuel. The better you are at the game, the closer you sit to death and the more powerful you become. That's a beautiful little loop, and it means skilled players and scared players are playing 2 different difficulty curves inside the exact same fight. Job 3, and this is the one most designers miss. The box is a bespoke puzzle space. Every enemy's bullet pattern is unique, and the pattern reads as their personality. Queen fires phone notifications at you that bounce around the box. Spamton attacks with spam email pop-ups that clutter the screen and demand you read garbage while dodging. The bullets aren't just projectiles, they're characterization. You learn what an enemy is by how they try to kill you before you ever read a line of their dialogue. 1 system, 3 emergent functions: dodge, charge, puzzle. And because it's 1 system, every new enemy is just a new bullet pattern, not a new system to learn. The player never has to relearn the controls. The designer never has to build a new mechanic. That's how a small team ships a game with this much encounter variety. Every enemy feels handmade, but they're all variations on a single rule set. The transferable principle is simple. Before you add a new system to solve a new problem, ask whether an existing one can be overloaded to serve it. Celeste does the same thing with its dash. 1 mechanic that solves movement, combat, and puzzles. The constraint creates the variety. Most devs reach for a new feature when they should be reaching for a new use of an old feature. When you feel the urge to add a system, that's usually a sign you haven't finished designing the one you already have. Second decision. Every enemy in Deltarune can be killed or spared. The fight path is violence. The act path is mercy. You figure out what the enemy needs, you calm them down, and they stop fighting. Here's the genius part. Both paths run through the same bullet box. Sparing isn't a menu toggle you hit once and you're done, you earn it. You choose acts that shift the enemy's state, make them tired, make them laugh, figure out what they actually need, all while surviving their bullet phase turn after turn. You're dodging and negotiating at the same time. Each enemy is a little puzzle. What combination of acts flips them from hostile to spareable? The mercy route takes longer. It asks more of the player, and it demands more skill than the kill route. That's deliberate. Think about what that inverts. In most RPGs, violence is the deep path, and mercy is the easy way out. Click spare, fight over, move on. Deltarune makes mercy the harder, richer, longer path. So the player who engages with the game systems the most is the one being rewarded for not killing. The casual player who just hits fight is actually playing the shallow version. Chapter 2 deepens it. Spare an enemy the right way, and you can recruit them to live in your castle town. Mercy stops being just a moral choice and becomes a collection system. Now you've got a gameplay reason to spare, you want to fill your town. This is mechanics as morality, and it's the thing most developers get backwards. They want players to make good choices, so they write a lot of text about why killing is bad. Fox doesn't do that. He never tells you sparing is right. He makes the peaceful path mechanically richer. He makes it more interesting to play. So players choose mercy for gameplay reasons, and then they feel the weight of the choice afterward. The lesson transfers everywhere. Whatever you want players to value in your game, make that the more rewarding play. Don't lecture, don't put a karma meter on screen that ticks down. Make the thing you care about the thing that's fun. Themes should fall out of what your mechanics reward, not out of what your dialogue says. Third decision, and this is the hidden one, most players never even find. It's called the weird route. Some people call it Snowgrave. Here's what's wild. There is no be evil button. No dialogue option that says, I choose darkness. Instead, in Chapter 2, if you backtrack and repeatedly force a character named Noelle to freeze every enemy with a spell called Snowgrave, and you have to buy her a specific ring first, the entire game silently branches. The tone changes. Boss fights change. A character named Birdley ends up in a coma. The game never once tells you this is possible. The branch is triggered by cumulative behavior, not by a single choice in a conversation, and the only way to discover it is to do it, to be cruel, repeatedly, on purpose. Nobody told the first players it existed. They found it by pushing against the game, by treating Noelle like a tool, and the game quietly went along with them. There's no achievement popping up, no narrator saying you've chosen the dark path. The world just gets colder, and you realize you did that. This is the most sophisticated branch design I've seen in years. Most games handle branching by putting a fork in front of the player and asking which way they want to go. Deltarune hides the fork entirely. The player builds the branch themselves through accumulated action. By the time they realize they're on a different path, they're already deep in it. Chapter 5 escalates this with a screen that literally says Insert Chapter 7, Side B. The game knows you went there and it's saving a payoff. The principle. If you're building narrative, the strongest branching isn't a fork you show the player. It's a direction they create by doing something. Make your players build their own branch through behavior, and the branch feels like it was always theirs. Compare it to the usual approach. Most story games put a big choice on screen, save the village or burn it down, and then track a meter that ticks left or right. The player knows they're making a choice. It's a menu. Deltarune's route isn't a menu. It's a pattern of behavior the game silently watches. The player doesn't feel like they picked a branch. They feel like the game noticed who they were. That's a completely different emotional weight, and it's available to any developer willing to track cumulative action instead of single decisions. 3 takeaways you can use today. 1. Overload one mechanic before you add a second. Deltarune's box dodges, charges your meter, and puzzles. So ask yourself, what's the one system in your game that could be doing 3 jobs instead of 1? Probably the thing you already treat as a single feature, a jump that's also an attack and a puzzle-solving tool, a card play that's also your movement and your defense. Look at your feature list, find the mechanic you're underusing, and push it until it strains. 2. Let your theme come from what your mechanics reward, not from what your text says. If you want players to spare enemies, make sparing the richer play. If you want them to explore, make exploration more valuable than the fast path. Theme falls out of reward. 3. Design branches the player builds through behavior, not picks from a menu. A fork on screen is a multiple choice question. A hidden branch that opens because of how someone played is a discovery, and discoveries stick. These aren't bullet hell tricks, they apply to any RPG, any action game, anything systems heavy. The lesson underneath all 3 is the same. Do more with less. Constrain the system and let the variety fall out. Here's where AI tools make this approach actually viable for a solo dev or a small team. The do more with one system philosophy is exactly where AI pays off biggest. You design the one core mechanic, the box, the rules, how TP builds, how grazing works. Then you hand that to Claude Code or Cursor and ask for 30 enemy variations on top of it. Each one a different bullet pattern, a different act tree, a different personality. The thing that used to need a dedicated designer per encounter, you generate in an afternoon. AI can also simulate which spare paths players actually discover and flag branches nobody finds. The weird route only works because someone tested whether cruelty opens a door. AI can run that exploration for you. Inside AI Craft, members are prototyping exactly this. One clean core system, with AI generating the content layer on top. The design patterns from Deltarune. One unified mechanic doing 3 jobs, dual solvable encounters, branches built from behavior. Those are exactly what we're studying and building with inside AI Craft. We're using AI to generate enemy variation and simulate which branches players actually find, so a small team can ship a game that feels twice its size. Come join the community and build with us. Please feel free to subscribe and check out the links in the description below.